We are now unmuted. Ready to go.
Good afternoon and welcome to our February meeting. Before I begin, I would like to remind you to sign in if you haven't, and please grab an agenda as we'll be going over that together. I call this meeting to order at 12 o'clock. Are there any changes or additions to the agenda? All right, so all of our guests present here and online, please take a look at your agendas as well as our board members. I'd like to clarify when public comment is appropriate. There's a few outlined at the beginning. It'll be items on the agenda. There's also 2 action items which we will call for public comment on. And at the end, we have another section for public comment, but it's specifically for items not on the agenda, but would be under the jurisdiction of the board. Just to clarify that so that we keep that consistent during all of our meetings. That being said, if you do have public comment on items on the agenda, please step up to the microphone and state your full name. You'll have 3 minutes to give us your comments.
Hello, my name is Samantha Summers. Commonly I'm known as Sammy Joe. I am the branch librarian in Geraldine. I would like to preface that I am here today on my personal time. It was brought to my attention by a Geraldine community member that the board has not heard my position on job descriptions. I was unaware that I needed to talk directly to the board. I was under the impression that by communicating my concerns and opinions to my directors, my direct supervisors, Emily and Marin, it would be sufficient for them to bring my thoughts to the board. Unless I missed something, I do not believe that the Big Sandy librarians have spoken to the board as a whole about job descriptions, only their board seat trustee. I make a point to be on the monthly Zoom board meetings to do my branch report as the branch librarian. After that, I am limited to my availability based on patrons' needs and how busy I am. I am only one person in Geraldine. I do not have a private office where I can lock myself away from the public to attend a full meeting with undivided attention. I do not feel that as the branch librarian, I should be in control of any aspect of book purchasing or cataloging or budget. I believe that should be left to the individuals who are trained for that position and have the education for that position. That would be Emily and Marin. I work closely with Marin on which books my community would like to see in the Geraldine Library. Marin does her best to make sure that we are getting things that will actually build our collection, and she does so in a fiscally responsible way. Marin will often send books that I have not asked for, and I truly appreciate that. I look at my book wish list that I share with Marin as a specialty order list, things that patrons have specifically asked for, or I personally feel like our library would like. That does not mean every book I put on that list gets purchased. Marin makes sure all new popular books are sent without me even asking. Marin's job requires a vast amount of book knowledge that honestly I do not have the time to even begin to attempt to replicate, let alone I do not have the time to make sure I am getting the best deals in combining as many orders as possible to cut down on shipping costs. I would like to remind the board that the Geraldine Branch Library is the smallest with the least amount of staff hours. What I accomplish in Geraldine is done in 26 hours a week by one employee. 2 of those hours are dedicated to cleaning the library, which works out to half an hour a day. 90% of my time that I am open, I need to be available to assist patrons. With that taken into consideration, that means I have just over 2.5 hours a week to dedicate to something. Most weeks that's not the case. I bounce back and forth between helping patrons and managing incoming books in the current collection, creating programming, managing statistics, completing reports, and answering emails in a timely manner. Emily is the only person in this room who consistently visits Geraldine and knows what I am doing out there and how hard I work to achieve what I do. Additionally, if you take into consideration Big Sandy's inability to be on the Zoom to do their branch report and their lack of communication with anyone working in the library system, including their inability to reply to an email in a timely manner, 2 to 6 days is not timely, along with their inability to manage and keep their collection organized correctly, plus the vast amount of patrons that they see, I do not feel that they have the time to dedicate to doing any additional collection management or cataloging either, even with 2 full-time employees. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Sammy Jo. Wait, is there any other public comment that are items on the agenda? Anybody? Okay. We'll move into our consent agenda. This is an action item. So is there a motion, or actually, let me ask if there's any corrections or additions to the minutes or questions about the financial reports before we continue? Any questions at all? Can I have a motion then to accept the consent agenda as presented to us?
I make a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
May I have a second? Thank you. Is there any discussion? Any public comment? All right, it has been moved and seconded to accept the consent agenda as presented. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All opposed? That passed. Let's move into our branch reports, please. Is Big Sandy available?
They are online.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, thank you for being here.
All right. In January, we had a bunch of themed activities centered around blue books, Sudoku, and we celebrated both the and Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Our regular programs continue to thrive, including book club, Lego club, homework help, board game sessions. We also had pop-up with Dungeon and Dragons, which provided a fun and interactive experience for the kids. In addition, patrons enjoyed sewing at the library and story time with our youngest readers. January was a full and lively month filled with learning, creativity, and community engagement. And that's my report.
Thank you. Fort Benton.
In January, our themes, our displays were winter, first in a series, space, Steve Jenkins, book club picks, crafts, Martin Luther King Jr., Canada, polar bears, penguins, New Year, and search and find. Over at River and Plains, I worked in collaboration with them to bring Ben Larson and Fall. They are a duo, a cowboy poet and singer, to River and Plains, which was a great program. We had about 30 people that went. And there's talk to try to get him back for community concert or summer celebration. Fort Benton speech and drama team held their showcase here at the library right before their divisional competition, and Brian Miller, a political candidate, came in to give a presentation on his platform.
Thank you. Sam Jo.
For Geraldine, our themes for January were winter, snow, and new books. And right now at this time, I'm not working on any new projects. Thank you.
All right, moving into our director report.
Mostly updates this month, capital improvement plan for the Fort Benton building. We have not yet scheduled with Tom Hayden. We've had a call into him. He has not gotten back to us. Stacy Bronick and Tamara England are working on lights, the scan. Sarah Kratzner came and did the scan on the 17th. So we're waiting. I talked to her yesterday. They're getting that into the program. And Tamara and Stacy will be turning in a grant application, I believe, at the end of the month for the Historical Society. I turned in a grant for a bike repair kiosk to be outside through the trail program. I have not heard back about that. AED update, there is one going to be coming to the Fort Benton Library, and then beyond that, the branch librarians have been told they can pursue grant opportunities, and I will see if there's a second wave with the program that I got one from. Narcan, we already have our Narcan not display, but cabinet, and Nancy LaChapelle said she would get those for both Geraldine and Big Sandy. Then we were having a staff meeting here in Fort Benton on Friday, March 13th, where Nancy will come and do a Narcan training and a QPR training with that, and we'll work on some other things.
staff.
Yes, yep, all staff. The webpage is back up and running again. Brenda Thorpe helped me with that. It was just some weird thing on the back end. Nobody had tried to hack in or anything. It was just I don't know, the way the internet works sometimes. So really found how much people do utilize it and how much I utilize it myself for links. And then number 6 is an addition from when I first mailed out. It's in the packet. So we had pursued the hotspots. Before, the hotspots were with the state, and the state paid for all of that. And then that funding sunset, we did get it for 2 years longer than had originally been anticipated, so that was nice, and they're very popular, so I wanted to keep doing that. What we found out after we did that was with the state, they had negotiated with Verizon, especially unlimited data without any slowdown. Well, when everybody split out with that consortium, without that resource sharing, it was capped. And so I had taken one to do work remotely, and it was towards the end of January. And basically the slowdown is so much you can't utilize them anymore at all. And so I would get email notifications, you're about out of data. So it resets on the 1st of every month. And I was starting to get notifications on the 2nd and the 3rd. So people who were checking them out were using all of that data within a couple of days. So my plan right now that I wanted to let the board know is I'm going to discontinue that right after this meeting. But I had a patron gave me a lead. It's called Mobile Citizen, and it's for nonprofits to bring basically unlimited Wi-Fi to rural communities. That's the whole point, for $10 a month. Right now we're paying $40 per line. That would be $10 per month. So that would bring the cost down. But when I looked into that, we have our devices already, but to get a new SIM card for each device, it's $155 and then a $35 activation fee. So I was going to run those numbers in more of an actual written down presentation when I get the budget numbers ready to present that. Overall, it will be more inexpensive than what we are currently doing, and it should have better results. So I just want to inform the board that I will be discontinuing the hotspots from now, at least until the end of June. But
Was that to just, excuse me, Nay, was that just for Verizon or Verizon and?
T-Mobile, we're not gonna have any available till that end. So, yeah, that's just where we are right now. It just wasn't.
So I have a question too. I guess I wasn't aware of the hotspots. I don't know that we've ever talked about them since I've been on the board.
No, because they were approved with the last year's fiscal budget for this fiscal year. So that was approved in May or early June. We have to have those numbers in.
So I just need to understand how they work. So people can come in and check out a hotspot?
Yes,
Oh, for how long?
2 weeks.
Wow.
And then you have to bring it back. It has to be brought back. You cannot check out for at least a week.
You can't take it.
You
check it
can
out again.
and we've had very good luck with them. We have the whole time that I've been here, we've been one of the unicorn programs in the state, actually, which was part of the reason I wanted to continue it. We had one hotspot that ended up being broken, and that was it. And then we get payment for that. It's in the contract that people have to sign. A lot of folks have utilized, like if they move to the community and you have to wait for your internet to get connected, or if people have family that's in who are utilizing like the RV park or parks or the campground, and so they do it that way. And there are some people who I think do use it for home internet, but again, it's you get it for 2 weeks, then you have to bring it back for a week, so it's not necessarily super consistent that way. And then the extension office uses it. If Janelle's gonna go do training or education, she'll take it, and Carolyn uses one, when she goes to Front Range and to the Bluffs. We're gonna keep one for staff use. And then if our internet goes down here, we can still access our checkout programs, but overall, it just hasn't been
But you guys don't
great.
use that much data. on it.
Right, just to run the checkout program isn't a lot. There were a number of libraries that had kind of waited to see what that would be like, and then when they found out about that cap and how much it slowed down, it just decided not to go forward either, but it is something I feel it's an important service, but we just can't maintain it at this price point, and then for it to have so much slowdown, it just becomes not, and I don't even mean it's not that it will just not stream like videos anymore. You can't even open like Facebook with it or do a Google search. It just doesn't really work anymore. So
So you're planning to discontinue it, is it a penalty for breaking the contract?
I don't think there's not a contract with it. It's just a month bill. So
I don't know, you probably explained that and I missed it. And we get to retain the actual
we own the devices.
pops, whatever.
Yeah, we have they're about as big as a deck of cards. That's not how
How
big.
many do we have?
We have 5 here for checkout. They have 2 in Big Sandy for checkout, and then we have our staff one. So,
So 8 total, 9 total?
yes,
8.
5, 6,
7.
7, 8 total. There's none in Geraldine because you can't draw the magical internet out of the air in Geraldine. You have to have the unit. And I believe it's the same. I've tried it in Hollywood and it
it's-
doesn't. They don't
it's
really
the
say.
same. Yeah, no internet,
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah.
So, does anybody have any questions about anything else?
Yeah, I saw Carolyn is extending services to Golden Age Center now.
Yeah, so she on the first Thursday of the month goes to the Bluffs to check out books for people, and then on Friday, the first Friday goes to Front Range. And they've discontinued meal service at the Bluffs, and she doesn't have a lot of people. A couple of the people that really utilize the service have moved up to the nursing home. And so she and I sat down and talked about it, and she's gonna still go to the Bluffs, but at 10 in the morning, that's when people come down and get their mail. So she'll set up just a little bit less, and then go from there over to the Golden Age and set up during lunch pickup time and when people go for lunch, just once a month. And then if folks come in for lunch, they can request books or put them on hold, and she can bring them in. She'll bring a selection. So we're just trying to expand that
That's great.
for people to have that.
That's part of the strategic plan. So I just wanted you to,
Yeah,
that's perfect. I just saw it.
yeah, then that will start next week, that first Thursday in March.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Very nice. Any other questions for Emily? No announcements or dates to remember, so we'll move into unfinished business. We're looking at job descriptions. I didn't have Emily reprint them.
The same ones as January.
Other than the corrections that were made
Do they say
and sent.
January on at the top? Cause I have so many job descriptions laying around my
So the
house.
most recent email.
The most
Recent email would be that.
Okay.
There was one correction I saw on the assistant director. I saw that there was an S in responsible, but in twice that we should remove.
Do you want to kind of summarize the changes that were made? Too many?
Sure.
Okay.
So, we took a look at them and, because of what I had said last meeting, the changes are actually quite simple. On each branch librarian, we have, on the key responsibilities at the very end, the ones that we had submitted, said at the direction/instruction of the director, manage library branch collections, purchases, catalogs, and reads in accordance with library policies and procedures. We took out at the discretion/instruction of the director and just started it with manage library branch collections. 2 reasons why we did this. If you go back to the director's job responsibilities. You'll see that she is to train and evaluate all library staff, which is under her key responsibilities. And if you go back to the branch librarian job description, at the very, very top, the last sentence in the very top says reports to director. So it's clear to me, I hope it's clear to the rest of you, that the management that the branch clerk is supposed to now do under her job description is something that will be trained by the director and supervised by the director. And so I thought that was sufficient. And then, or I guess I shouldn't say just Jessalyn and I had a committee meeting and we agreed to this. And then under the assistant director, the previous job description had left out some language under the under her before job responsibilities start. And that was just added back in. And I don't have the wording for that. Do you have the wording?
I'd have to.
For that, I think it's yeah. It seems I have here add language to be the same. So it should say the assistant director is responsible for the daily operations of the Fort Benton Branch Library under the Chouteau County Library System, and then reports to director. I believe that's
Yes,
correct.
that is, I just looked at.
And then I think that was it. That's the only changes that we are recommending be made to the job descriptions that were presented last meeting.
All right.
So you're still moving away from centralizing the collections development.
Well,
I think what we're,
I think they're still all under the
that's what we're
director's
trying to do is
supervision.
create that chain of command that we've all been talking about forever. And that the biggest thing that you'd see is that Emily is the head of it all. Where I don't think our previous job descriptions clarified that one bit. And that's what we're really looking for is that she's overseeing it all.
So your thought when you changed the duties of the assistant director was to.
She's still
you thought
doing
before
everything that
was
she
the
was.
chain of command, and this pulls her from the chain of command.
Not pulls her from the chain of command. I would not say that. I would say that it should be Emily as the head of the chain of command.
Yep.
And she's still doing all the things that she was doing. It's just Emily's the head of it. And that's what all of that language is trying to solidify.
Oh, we took out that at the discretion/instruction of the director and the assistant director or director's language also under job key responsibilities. So again, it's I mean, that's the changes we made that we're recommending that those clarify the job descriptions and
So by adding or having the assist director with designated task functions, that's kind of a catch-all that allows Maren to still use her existing training in collections development. That's the thought.
well, I have no doubt because she's told us herself that she's trained. So, but ultimately the training of all of the staff falls on Emily. She has to determine everybody's trained sufficiently.
And that's an overseeing.
Okay.
As we've talked before, she can delegate,
Mm-hmm.
but it's still the overseeing of all of it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't think I follow your logic, but that's might just be a difference in thought process between.
Do we want any more discussion before I ask for a motion to accept, or is there any other corrections or additions that we see we'd like to
What
add?
I'm hearing you say is you're not unhappy with how Maren is doing anything, you're just changing a little bit of the verbiage. And you're completely happy with how it's going, but want to make sure that the chain of command is verbal.
Chain of command and that there's more of an encouragement of teamwork. I know that that's encouraged, but I think it wasn't verbalized in these. And that's what I think we're trying to accomplish is teamwork between all branches and that Emily's overseeing it all.
So to speak to public comment, even though I know we don't address it directly, but with this language, the branch librarians won't be required to do these additional tasks. They will be, if they wish to pursue it, they can. But in the cases where staff feel they don't have time to handle purchasing, cataloging, they won't be required to with this language.
I disagree.
Do you think they will be required with this
I
language?
think they will have to at least be trained. Yes,
Okay, so this language will require additional training for all staff.
I don't know the answer to that because I don't know how all staff has been trained.
Okay,
Again, that falls on
Emily.
Emily,
Okay,
yeah.
but so with someone like Sammy Jo, who's worried that she doesn't have enough time to take on additional tasks.
Okay, I
she'll
will
just have
remind
to-
you that Sammy Jo has asked for increased hours.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
we've also talked about, and
So-
Sammy Jo brought it up as well, it's a smaller library, it's a smaller amount of books coming to Geraldine each month.
Okay,
But if we're looking at progressing and giving more hours to the Geraldine branch, can't this be something that encourages that we allow for that?
so we will compensate for the additional job task
Well,
by
it's something we can
potential
look
hours.
into, I
Okay.
think, I believe.
Okay,
I
So
think those are all
potential
things we should
increase.
consider.
okay. Okay. I guess I'm still at the same spot where I like the idea of one central person looking through the weeds and all that, but
Well, and it can roll out how Emily sees it fit.
mhm,
But that doesn't mean that everybody can't be involved either. I feel like. Well, I think what we've discussed a lot is, everybody being involved is just that much more. Information from patrons going from the librarians. And we're just covering all that basis then, where we've had patrons complain that they aren't being heard. So this is just a way to cover that. I know we've had dozens of conversations over that, and I know Emily's addressed those conversations with some of the patrons that have come to her. But I do feel like this is a way that we show we're hoping for teamwork,
mhm,
and Emily is in charge of it all.
okay.
We're overseeing it all, whatever helps understand that best.
The buck stops with Emily. Yeah. Or the director.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I mean, these aren't just,
No, they're not supposed to be
Emily.
personal,
Yeah.
really, because
Mhm.
it's for the organization. And I think Emily's even said it's not putting people in a box, it's the outline of what we expect as a
Mhm.
board, and the director is the one that rolls it out and shows the staff how it can be accomplished.
Okay,
And as I've said before, Emily and I will have a conversation about how that can look. And hopefully we can come to a good solution on how it works for everybody.
okay.
So moving on,
well,
yeah, go ahead.
can I move to accept?
That's what I was just gonna ask, if I could have a motion.
I move to accept the job descriptions as the committee has recommended.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any more discussion? I'd call for public comment. Is there any public comment? Okay, seeing as there is none, it has been moved and seconded to accept the job descriptions with those few edits. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Okay, that's been accepted with one nay. So now we'll move into,
Madam Chairman, may I ask, will we need to print those off, or will the changes be made and printed for us, or?
yeah, we'll make it, that's why I didn't want to make, because there was that change that I caught last minute. So they will be printed the finalized draft for everybody. Thank you, Emily, for doing it. We'll go into the Highwood survey with further discussion here.
Okay, I want to say that Emily did reach out and find out the cost of sending out the survey. And I don't remember if I responded to Emily, but here's what I'd like to do, and I don't know if I'm allowed to do this. But I'd like to take the survey and take it to the post office in Highwood and have it mailed out from Highwood. I guess because, you know, always we have this concern about keeping a post office in Highwood. And so I really would like to support the Highwood post office. Plus, I want to talk to Jessica, the postmistress right now, about how to handle the surveys if somebody comes in and drops them off or whatever. And so that's the one thing that I'd like to do. And I know that there will be a cost to it, and I can't remember what the cost was, but I think it's around $200, isn't it?
It was 175.
Yeah. And so I don't know if I just donate that amount to the library or if I get a check, or I don't know how that part of it works. But that's what I'd really like to do. I'd like to actually do the legwork and take it, you know, so I pick up the surveys and take them to the Highwood and do the bulk mailing. And I may not have, I can't remember if I responded to Emily's email, but I guess I thought I needed to make sure that that was something that I could do without just emailing Emily and telling her that that's what I'd like to do. So because I'm not sure if that's acceptable behavior.
I think that's fine. I don't know how that works with the reimbursing.
There's room in the budget for that.
That's what I thought, is what
It's not
you
like
told
it came
me.
in at $1,200
No.
or something. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a negligible in the
Yeah.
overall budget.
I thought that's
So
what
we
you
can
had
take
told
care
me.
of that.
So, and I would like to do it
Yeah, no.
as soon as possible, but I would like to do it if that's okay.
To take them
course.
over.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and have them mailed out from the Highwood
Unless,
post office.
unless thing you have to track.
So,
Perfect.
so that's okay? Okay, so then I'll just communicate with Emily
Yep.
when they're ready to be picked up and.
Sounds perfect. Thank
Okay.
you for offering that.
Yeah, well, I'm there, so, but I would like them to come out of Highwood, so.
That makes sense. All right, any other further discussion for the Highwood survey? Okay. Seeing as there is none, we'll move into the Big Sandy Library Gutter and Drainage, the report for that. Emily, I think you have.
Yes, so Darlene and I have been communicating about that. She has contacted Concrete Cowboy and MD Excavating to request bids, but they have not come out to review the project or gather additional information. She also reached out to a couple of contractors in Great Falls. One declined and another had a 2-year wait list. So it is in motion.
Do you know who she reached out to in Great Falls?
It does not say. What we found with a lot of projects in Geraldine and here is that it's, if people don't come on kind of a regular basis, it's just far enough away. Things are just far enough away that it's not worth making the trip. So.
Okay. Okay, we're moving into the board yearly eval and goal setting. I just kind of went ahead and put these out there, because I haven't heard from anybody. Let's see.
Which one, Faith?
Just one page. There's only 4. Does anybody have? Did you all get one?
Yeah.
Did I print enough? Is that what you got, Emily?
Mm.
Oh, 4. Alrighty, so I've kind of been the grueling one about continuing education, because I just think that's a really important thing for us as board members, specifically because we're community members coming in, and the world of library board is a whole new world. So there's several options coming up that I think would be great for us to look into. Nothing that we have to do. This is nothing that is set in stone. It's just a discussion. In April, it is the oh, I'm gonna say it wrong now. It's the Montana Library Association, right? That is putting on their annual convention, and it's in Great Falls this year, which is great because it's a ton of continuing education options. I did speak with Corey Sloan, our consultant, and there's two specific ones that I thought looked great for our board in particular. It's Beyond Board Basics and then budget and finance training. She's also offered that maybe later in March, she could come and give those to us personally here if we needed, or by Zoom.
So is April 11th when those are offered in Great Falls?
Oh, I have the full,
Because it says April 11th. Which is Saturday.
sorry, no,
Okay, good.
it's April 15th through the 18th. I'm sorry, I put down the wrong day.
Okay,
Well,
well, this is better because I'm busy on the. So,
15th through 17th.
it's the 15th through the 18th, and the day that
Okay,
those
that
two
makes-
are on,
Let's see, the one was on Thursday.
right, I think, can't find it. But I'll solidify those dates if that's something that we think that would be a good one to look into. The other that I'm really hoping I can encourage at least three of us to go to is the Pathfinder Continuing Ed. Pathfinder is always held here in Fort Benton. I've gone for the past few, and a few of us went to the continuing education, I think last May. But Corey let me know that the Montana Nonprofit Association would be doing another training. That's the group that came for us in October. And I think it was on open meeting laws is what she said. I would have to check on it, but that would be two meetings that we could attend, with at least a quorum, so that that hour at least would count towards the board, or continuing education hours.
That's Pathfinder.
And I think that's May 1st, right? Emily? 7th
May 7th.
is the first one.
That's the Pathways one,
Pathfinder, yeah.
Pathfinder, sorry.
No, you're fine.
Pathways was school thing.
No, you're good. Then moving into the second, and these are just brainstorms. They're nothing we have to do, but I did talk to Emily about this in moving away from a yearly evaluation and more toward quarterly evaluation of Emily, so that we would help her in setting goals like we're planning to do in March. And this is an advisement from Mako and West F as well, but we would have those quarterly meetings then to ensure that progress is going well for her. And that would more than likely be with the board chair and not as the whole board as a group, unless we saw a need for that, but more than likely that would be something that the board chair would oversee.
Well, I'm really in favor of this.
Yeah, I think it's a good way to ensure progress and to open up that communication with Emily and the board director, or excuse me, the board chair.
Would agree.
I think it's because not only do we need to know if we're making progress, but we need to get kudos when we do it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. So, the third one, community outreach. This is just piggybacking off of what's already going on in Highwood. When I took the continuing ed from Corey Sloan in October, she encouraged to have meet and greets, so that we could have that conversation with our patrons. So I thought that might be a good way to have an outreach in Highwood to actually hear community needs.
Do you think August is a good time though, given farming?
Probably not, but I thought it would piggyback off of that meeting is why I
Okay.
gave that as an option.
Okay.
Like I said, these are just options. And then
Okay.
if we could have one before that, maybe right after the survey rolls out and we get the results of that.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in favor of that. I'm just not
Everybody
sure of
comes
the
for
date.
food, right? So if we have some
Yes,
kind of
it's so true.
something out there. But a good way to hear from our patrons there on how they're looking to roll out the library there.
Yeah, I think that's yeah.
And then the last one was just strategic plan. We've already said that we were gonna do quarterly review of that, but I'm putting it in writing for us so that we do stick on to that task and make sure that we're meeting those goals we have in our strategic plan. And with that, does anybody else have any other goals that they're considering or that you just didn't get a chance to email me?
It occurs to me with the outreach, this will kind of be after I'm off, but you could consider tying it into a kindergarten or preschool day. Because
Oh,
I think
sure.
we know how the best thing about the library is you don't have to buy $100 of children's books every month.
Right.
It's such a resource for young parents.
Sure, that's a great idea. Thank you, Kim.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, is this the time to bring up, what I discussed with you
Sure.
about the calendar?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, I was just wondering if there was possibility to share with the board electronic calendar of, like events or who's working what day, whatever, so that we could, because you probably have one, right? An electronic one, and just to once again improve communication and transparency. And I stopped in a couple of days ago and Marin was having a tea party and I thought that was just such a cute thing. And it was probably in the paper, but I missed it there. But I might not have missed it if it had been on a calendar that was shared with us. And I just had the opportunity to tell her, I thought that was such a great idea and I appreciated that. And so just to know who's working what day and who's just.
So
Yeah,
you're talking about events that are on the calendar, like the tea party too?
And who's working what day, you know, like what days is Marin here? I know she works, because I think Emily, you did tell me one time orally and I didn't write them down and you don't recall times and days and hours and. So just I wanted to be intentional about stopping in when different people are working to make those connections and show appreciation.
So would it be Google Docs?
That's currently what we use, yes.
Okay.
But also you can, and I'm not trying to, it's just, if you go on the web page under each branch, we have our activity calendar.
Yeah,
That's
I saw that.
in that, but that's not when staff is working, but
Right.
as far as, yeah.
I just thought that was a really great way to increase that communication, like an option anyway to do that.
Intended to only be positive.
Yeah,
You know, there
for
was
sure.
no negative.
Because what you can turn on off editing capability, so we have, so.
We don't need editing.
Right, so you don't get there like, oh.
So we would get.
Well, I said you can turn off editing, so we don't accidentally put our dentist appointment on the wrong calendar.
Yes.
So I'm all in favor of this too, but let me explain my dilemma with Google Docs. Because my kids love Google Docs and threerivers.net isn't really friendly totally with Google Docs. And so what happens to me is I will get a email that says Google Docs, and then I'll go to my I'll go to my Gmail because I was forced to get a Gmail because of Google Docs, and then it'll ask me, it'll say you don't have permission. So and then I have to send an email back and say, give me permission. And so I know there's a way to give permission initially. I just would ask that you just check that box so that I don't have to go in and, yeah. And they're just appalled. They're just like, what do you need to? And I go, I've had this email I'm not changing my email address. So.
Have you tried using Chrome as your browser? It's a little more friendly to, right, Emily? Is that-
Well, I have my Gmail under Chrome. Yes. But you know, with
Oh, I know.
this is.
So Lisa, at the risk of offending her people, but that is the thing on their end, that's not on your end. It's how they're sharing it with you.
Oh, no, I know.
Yeah.
I know, I've explained, but yeah, they just forget. Cause you know, they're also used to just sending it out and having no problem, but.
Is there an alternative?
The Google Docs? Oh, I don't know.
Something
I
else?
don't, I mean, I think it's it's just a check mark thing, isn't it? I don't think it's hard to do. I just need it. Or it would save you time because then you can get an email and you get that, yeah.
So there are lots of different options and that's, I don't want to, problem, just part of it. So with my kids at school, like every coach has a different platform. I mean, there's so many, so then I have to have 6 different apps and try to figure out, so Google right now just seems to be the pervasive
Yeah.
platform out the time.
There's a
I'm
reason.
not saying that makes it the best, it's just it's what most
Okay.
people have.
Otherwise, I think it's a great idea.
And like Kim said too, usually they have color dots for your calendars. Really easy to get the wrong one.
Maybe need some training. Well, I probably do.
Okay, any more discussion for goal setting?
Thank you for putting this together.
Yeah, and this is just discussion, so please, if you have anything you want to edit on it, change or say this is really great or not at all, that's what I'm looking for in that. This is just a starting point that I should have had the last meeting.
So ideally, edit any suggestions to you at least a
Yeah.
week before the next meeting.
Yeah, that'd be perfect, and then we can just solidify that that's what we're moving forward with to keep us on track.
I would just like to comment that I support any continuing education that we can have. I just don't think that we can ever, I've been through several public meeting law trainings and every time you get something new out of it.
Yep.
Or just a reminder.
For sure. Yes, thank you. Okay, moving into our last unfinished business is our human resources bill and the update on that. I did speak with the commissioners as well as Michelle Edmonds, our human resources consultant, by phone, just to have, excuse me, I'm struggling, clarification. So in regards to the bill, the majority of this bill, when speaking with Michelle, came from staff concerns and complaints. And that's why Human Resources was consulted by our commissioners and why they ended up hiring and having that consultant in place for us to utilize. The conclusion, Kim, that you asked for was also given to me by Michelle, and that's that these complaints were mostly resolved naturally because we utilized the Montana Nonprofit Association and had that training, and clear communication just kind of came about after that.
Okay.
So that was the recommendation from Human Resources, was to seek training and providing better communication between board and staff.
Has these results been shared with the staff?
No.
You might want to do that if it's
And that's something Michelle said to reach out for.
that she'll handle it.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I know
So that's
that.
part of the deliverable.
I know that she also gave, and she handed these to me as well, continuing education options, as well as a really good book to read. I think Emily had access to those as well.
So they're charging us $10,000 to tell us that it all worked out on its own?
No, that well, I'm gonna,
Almost.
so most of what was in the report, she gave me what I should and what I can say.
Okay.
So there's things that are, like you
There's stuff
said,
you're
there's
gonna
things
handle
I'm
with
privy to,
staff.
yeah.
Okay, I understand.
As board chair,
Okay.
and nothing that
So
you were
there-
allowed to reach out to her and chat with her
Okay, but I have
as a board
concern.
member, yes.
I got you.
And so is staff.
But there is a deliverable that you can, as your
Mhm.
role board chair, can take and meet with staff and,
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
Does it cost money if we call her? Are we charged?
Yes, and I'm gonna go into that as well,
Mhm.
that, so Michelle reached out to the commissioners and she is offering different, tiers of cost to them, and I have not heard back from them yet on what they've decided. But as of now, you can still reach out to them,
To the,
Human Resources.
oh, okay.
But,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And then in regard to this bill, I did speak with Diana on where that would come out of our budget. She's at the courthouse and she handles all of that. She is currently helping me decide. She's looking into what this can be classified underneath of. And she will be getting that information back to me hopefully soon, which I will then, Emily, give to you. But that's our update on the bill. So if there's any further questions that I can try to answer for you, please feel free to ask right now.
You don't even need any help. You're just handling it, because you started out handling it, so you got it, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
you bet.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Thank you for all your hard work.
Yeah, no problem.
No, really.
There's no new business today, ladies, so that puts us to public comment. This is public comment on items not on the agenda, but under the jurisdiction of the board. Is there any public comment? Okay, seeing as there is none, our next meeting would be March 25th, 2026, and please note that this is in Big Sandy. May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I move to adjourn the meeting.
May I have a second?
A second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Okay, that passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for being here.